Hi, I'm Ellie, and this is your weekly theatre news recap. The show that I missed last week, so I have to do 2 weeks of news this week. Oh boy. Well, there's so much news. There's so much news. This is why I should never miss weeks. And then I do it anyway, and I never learn my lesson. But if you want to stay up to date with UK touring and West End theatre, make sure you hit subscribe because I do these every single week. Except last week. Shh. But I always make sure to catch up, okay? And we're going to jump straight into it with probably the longest weekly news recap I'm ever going to make. This one, there's just so much. I normally have like 4 pages of news. I have 7 pages of news. Oh boy, are you ready? Because I'm not. First up, Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the World. This musical is coming back to London. It was on a tour before. It's done 2 tours, and it went to Wimbledon. So now it's coming a little bit more central into Victoria, where it's going to the Other Palace Theatre this summer. And we have our cast members for this show, because we're starting with casting. I don't know if I said about that. We're starting with... I'm already delirious. Oh my god. Anyway, so the new cast are Georgia Grant Anderson as Jade and Elena Bresci. Both of these are returning cast members. They are coming back to the show. They were recently in the tour version, but they will be joined by new cast members Meg Hately, Charlotte Giaconelli, Annalisa Lemola, and Alaya Monk. And we also have some swings and understudies who will be in the description down below. Very exciting. I'm hoping to see this one. I know little bits and pieces about it. I've heard a couple of the songs. They did West End Live, and I've seen it as time's gone by, but I've never actually been able to go and see it properly. So I feel like now is the time. Now is the time. Next up, Fiddler on the Roof. This is a revival that I've been waiting for. It's going to Regent's Park Open Air Theatre this summer, and we have our full cast. Now, if you are a fan of the musical Beetlejuice, you may be interested in our lead, because Adam Danheiser is coming over from Broadway. He was the original dad in Beetlejuice. His name is Charles. Yes. I remember Beetlejuice. We also have some more cast members who include Lara Pulver, who's playing Gold, Michael S. Siegel, who is Laza Wolf. We have Hannah Bristow, Liv Andrusier, who was in Ride. I loved Ride so much. I'm so happy that Liv is in Fiddler as well. That's awesome. We have Georgia Bruce, we have Gregor Milne, we have Beverly Klein, Daniel Crickler, Jonathan Dryden Taylor, and Dan Wolfe. We also have ensemble and supporting roles who will be in the description down below as always. This is one of my most anticipated shows. I'm really excited for it. I love a bit of Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. I'm trying to see all their shows. I missed Enormous Crocodile, annoyingly, but I'm trying to see all their main shows this season, and I'll hopefully see Garden next week. I've heard good things, and I'm going to hopefully see Fiddler on the Roof when that comes next month. Next up, Guys and Dolls. We have a surprise cast change for Guys and Dolls. I wasn't expecting any cast members to leave, because we know that the show is closing in January. They had their cast change last January, and well, I was just expecting everyone would be along for the ride, but we are seeing some new cast members joining the fold. So, Celinda Schoenmaker is going to be leaving, as well as Niall Buggy. These two have been in the show for a while. Obviously, Schoenmaker was in the show since it opened. I'm pretty sure Niall Buggy was in it since it opened as well, but I might be wrong about that. They are both leaving with their final performances on the 31st of August. But taking over these roles will be Gina Beck, who's going to be taking over for Sarah Brown, and Michael Simkins, who is taking over the role of Abernathy. This is really exciting. I love Guys and Dolls. If you haven't done the immersive Guys and Dolls, it's so much fun. You should go and do it before it closes this January. Next up, Dr. Strangelove. We're getting little tidbits about Dr. Strangelove. We're learning more about it as the time is going on. This isn't coming until October. The run has been so popular that it's extended, now concluding on the 25th of January, and then it's going to go to Dublin. So if you're in Ireland, if you are an Irish fan watching the channel, shout out to the Irish besties in the chat. Yeah, you can catch this as well in Dublin. But it has been announced that Giles Tierra will be joining the show to play General Buck Turgidson. That's how you say it, I think. He is joining the previously announced Stephen Coogan, who will be playing the lead in this show. Dr. Strangelove, that's the lead. It's the title character, and he is the lead, I think. I haven't seen the film, and I haven't seen the play, but I hope I will see the play. And before I see the play, I will watch the film if I go and see the play. I'm tired. Next up, the Giant. Let's just keep going. I've got so much news, and I'm already so behind. It's going to the German Downstairs Theatre as part of the Royal Court. This is happening from the 20th of September to the 16th of November, and honestly, this play really interests me. This is a play about the public outcry surrounding Roald Dahl after his comments of a anti-Semitic nature. Previously announced, we have John Lithgow, who's going to be playing Roald Dahl, and the amazing Elliot Levy, who is going to be playing Dahl's British Jewish publisher, Tom. And now we know the rest of the cast, including Rachel Sterling as Felicity Crosland, Dahl's fiancée, Romola Garai as Jessie Stone, Dahl's Jewish American publisher, Tessa Bonham-Jones as Hallie, the Dahl's family's housekeeper, and Richard Hope as Wally Saunders, Dahl's handyman. I'm really hoping I get a chance to see this one. Next up, continuing on, we've got so much more to talk about. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, really quick one this time. We have our El Lowen. We got the full cast last week, or the week before, probably 3 weeks ago now. I don't know, I've lost track of time. And now we know who El Lowen is, and that is Claire Foster. She was in Crazy for You, she was in Merrily We Roll Along, and we also have one more ensemble member who I actually want to mention because it's Katie Ellis, which means I get to speak about 2 previous cast members of Ride in the same week. Katie Ellis was incredible in Ride, and I'm so glad to see her continue that greatness into The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I think she's going to fit that musical perfectly in that really tight-knit ensemble. So excited for this musical, loved it at Southwark Playhouse, and I'm going to love it once again in the West End. Next up, heading over to the Young Vic, A Face in the Crowd, the Elvis Costello musical, has announced more cast members. We're still in casting. There's so much casting. I shouldn't have missed a week. Okay, so previously announced we have Ramin Karimloo and Anushka Lucas, but now we have more cast members. If Anushka Lucas wasn't enough Oklahoma representation for you, we also have Stavros Dimitraki, who is playing Joey D. He was also in the production of Oklahoma at the Wyndhams, if you remember. We have Ollie Dobson, if you wanted a little bit of Back to the Future in there. He's going to be playing Mel Miller. We have Emily Florence as Betty Lou, Howard Gossinson as Sheriff Homza, and we have some ensemble and swings who will be in the description where? Down below. Let's continue on. Excited for this? Let's go. Cable Street. We spoke about Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which is transferring from the Southwark Playhouse Elephant. And here is a musical that is transferring from Southwark Playhouse Borough to Southwark Playhouse Elephant. Cable Street. We have a lot of returning cast members here, including Danny Colligan, Shah Desi, Joshua Ginsberg, Max Alexander Taylor, Aoife McNamara, Sarah Leverborough, which is a great name, love that name, Ethan Pascal Peters, which is another great name, that's a banger of a name, Ethan Pascal Peters, that's so fun to say, and Jez Unwin. And joining them will be Davina Moon and Mia Overfield. This is playing at the Southwark Playhouse Elephant from the 6th of September to the 10th of October, and you can get your tickets right now. Next up, we're just going to keep on plowing on, otherwise I will run out of time, and that is the Rocky Horror Show. Rocky Horror Show going back on tour. We knew previously that it was heading to a couple of venues. They've announced new venues, including Milton Keynes, Cheltenham, Swindon, Dartford, Birmingham, Darlington, Shrewsbury, Brighton, Oxford, Richmond, and Stoke. And we now have our cast. So, it was previously announced that we will be having Jason Donovan appear as Frankenfurter for the majority of the tour dates up until the end of January 2025. Stephen Webb will also be returning to the show to reprise the same role in Malvern and Woking. And then Adam Strong will be making his Rocky debut to play the role of Frankenfurter from February 2025 onwards. That is your Frankenfurter. We've had 3 Frankenfurters. Let's go on to the rest of the cast. Brad is played by Connor Carlson. Janet, played by Lauren Chia. Riffraff, Job Gruter. And Magneta/Usherette is Natasha Holbergs. We have Columbia, who's being played by Jamie Lee Zanchancelli. Rocky, who is Morgan Jackson. And Eddie/Dr. Scott will be Edward Bullingham. We also have our Phantoms, otherwise known as our ensemble, who will be where? Description down below. And we will have our casting for the narrator soon. This tour is obviously going to the previous places I mentioned. It's also got a season at the Dominion Theatre in the heart of the West End from the 6th to the 20th of September, and a Christmas season at the Liverpool Playhouse. So if you want a little bit more Rocky Horror in your life, it's a camp old time. You can go and book for any of these dates. It's coming to a city near you. Long live Rocky Horror. And finally in casting news this week, and what I want to speak a little bit about, because I did speak on it on Instagram, and I want to give it some time here as well, is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It was announced this week that the Vivian will be playing the child catcher in Oxford, Liverpool, Stoke, Hull, Leicester, Southend, Eastbourne, Bournemouth, and Blackpool. Now, I love the Vivian. I love the fact that we are seeing more tours cast drag queens in these big roles. I think it is great for representation. I think these queens are just incredible, like Vivian, Davina. Like, these queens are so good at what they do, and they're always amazing in these shows that they're cast in. And I feel like the Vivian is going to be great here. However, as a queer person who is looking at the world right now and looking at a lot of narratives around queer people, I don't think it's the smartest idea to be casting a drag performer who, looking at the other people who've been cast in the child catcher role, is likely going to be playing this role in drag, to play a role like the child catcher. Because right now, there is a lot of rhetoric going around from bigoted people who are saying that drag queens are predators and queer people are dangerous towards children. And by casting a drag queen in a role like the child catcher, you are kind of playing into that. I think it's just very tone deaf casting for where we are as a society right now. And I think the Vivian's going to do a great job. Vivian is very good at playing these larger-than-life villainous roles. But I just think that this was a little bit of an oversight. And it leaves me feeling a little bit uncomfortable from a personal perspective. But let's move on from that. I've said what I've said and what I feel like I need to say. And let's move on to concerts. First up, Spies Are Forever. This is a musical that I've actually watched online. It's by a group that are normally associated with StarKid, but aren't StarKid. It's by the Tin Can Bros. And they are going to be bringing Spies Are Forever to London in a concert version on the 3rd of September 2024. This has also, this week, been announced to be having an additional matinee performance on the same day. This also has some really interesting casting, including Richter, Rosenthal, and Lubowich, joined by Clark Baxtresser, Lauren Lopez, and West End actors Adrian Hansel as Agent Kurt Mega and Jack Malone as Dr. Varen Bon Nazi. This is a stacked cast. Not only have you got great returning characters, but Jack Malone, Olivier Award winner Jack Malone. That's fantastic. That's so good. Jack is going to absolutely slay that. And we've also got additional cast members who will be announced later. And I await patiently. I feel like I need to grab a ticket for this. I feel like I don't have the money for a ticket for this, but I've got to try. I've got to try my best. And you got it too. And if you want to, you can go book your tickets now. And finally, in concert news, this was a quieter concert news week, but it was louder in every other case of the word. Avenue Q. Avenue Q is having a reunion concert this year to celebrate 18 years of the show being here. I think it's older. I think in New York it's 20 years old, but I feel like this is celebrating London's birthday. They are doing 2 concert performances, a matinee and an evening, on the 10th of November 2024 at the Sondheim Theatre. This is going to feature the original London cast, including John Robbins, who is playing Princeton and Rod, Julie Atherton, who is playing Kate and Lucy, Simon Lipkin, who is returning as Nicky, Trekkie, and Bluebear, Giles Tierra as Gary Coleman, Anne Harada, coming straight from Broadway, coming back to play Christmas Eve, Sion Lloyd as Brian, and Jackie Sanchez as Mrs. T and Yellow Bear. This is really cool. This is so cool. I think it's nice that we're seeing a lot of these reunions happen. I feel like that is a great way to do a concert version of a show, to just, have a celebration and to bring back cast members in a big anniversary. And Avenue Q is so fun. I wish they'd just bring back Avenue Q for another tour. I'd love Avenue Q back for another tour. But if you want to catch the anniversary and a big birthday celebration for Avenue Q, you can go to the Sondheim Theatre this November, specifically the 10th. That's the only day. If you go on other days, you're likely going to see Les Mis, and that's not Avenue Q. But now we can go to our miscellaneous news. First off, MJ, really quickly, extended to March 2025. I'm surprised it hasn't extended further, knowing how well the show is doing, but that's pretty cool. And in rather sad news, we had the announcement that Wild Party, which was going to go off West End, has unfortunately been cancelled. This has been dubbed to be happening due to unforeseen circumstances beyond the producer's controls. And yeah, this is really sad. I was quite excited to see this production of Wild Party. We haven't had a production of Wild Party in this country for years, and yeah, this is really sad, but all my love to the cast and the crew who are going to be working on the show, and hopefully one day we can see Wild Party back. But let's move on to the real meat of this video, because you didn't think it was meaty enough. Transfers and new productions. There's so many here. I am at page 4 of 7 in my script, which shows you just how much transfers and productions we've got to talk about. First up, Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories is a show that was at the Lyric Hammersmith, transferred for a short period of time to the Ambassadors Theatre in the West End, went on a UK tour that was sadly cancelled early in 2020, and now is returning to fully do that tour. Ghost Stories is a horror-themed show. It is about a skeptic who is determined to debunk the paranormal, and then witnesses some hauntings that will obviously change his mind. So, this tour is heading to Bromley, Richmond, Plymouth, Sheffield, Milton Keynes, Salford, Cheltenham, Woking, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Glasgow, Norwich, Newcastle, Nottingham, Southend, Birmingham, Belfast, Leicester, Wickham, Southampton, Brighton, Shrewsbury, Malvern, and Cardiff. I was doing so well, and then I messed it up. So if you want to catch Ghost Stories, you can catch it at any of those tour dates. Talking of tours, we have another tour, and that's Joseph and his amazing tour, where he will be touring his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We previously knew that this was heading to Edinburgh, and now we have some more tour dates. This will be also visiting, as well as Edinburgh, Oxford, Sunderland, Canterbury, Nottingham, Belfast, Manchester, Bristol, Leeds, Blackpool, Norwich, Southampton, Mayflower. There's Southampton, Mayflower. Why am I trying to read those as two different tour stops? They're not. They're the same tour stop. Birmingham, Woking, Newcastle, Southend, Plymouth, Liverpool, Cardiff, and Milton Keynes. So if you want to catch Joseph, you can catch it at any of those stops. As well as that, you want another tour? Well, it's Moulin Rouge. We previously know that this was also going to visit Edinburgh, and now they've also announced their next tour stop, where it will be going to Bristol. So, the Moulin Rouge tour is doing a worldwide tour starting in the UK. This is going to happen at the same time as it's in London, and it is doing what we've seen from tours like Wicked and Hamilton, where it's doing big sit-down stops, where it stays at one theatre for a long period of time, and it will be in Bristol from the 26th of June to the 9th of August 2025. So you've got a little while to wait, but if you want to catch it at the Bristol Hippodrome, you can do that soon. And how soon? In about a year. Next up, really quick one, A Sherlock Carol is coming back for a third time, heading back to the Marylebone Theatre. This is happening from the 29th of November to the 5th of January. This is a mashup show between Sherlock and A Christmas Carol. It's in the name. If you were interested, go and see it. It looks like a lot of fun. Next up, we got an announcement of The Creakers. This is a new musical adaptation of the book by Tom Fletcher, which follows Lucy and a bunch of kids as they navigate a world where all the adults have disappeared, which leads them on a journey to the land of the Creakers. The Creakers, a magical musical adventure, will debut at the Theatre Royal Plymouth during the October half-term before transferring to South Bank Centre's Queen Elizabeth Hall from the 18th of December to the 5th of January 2025. So if you are near Devon, you can catch it in Plymouth, and if you're near London, you can catch it in London. Next up, I feel like I haven't talked about enough tours. Animal Farm. Animal Farm is embarking on a new tour. This is starting at the Octagon Theatre early next year from the 22nd of January to the Saturday, the 1st of February 2025. And then the show will visit the Rose Theatre Kingston from the 4th to the 8th of February, Malvern Theatre from the 11th of February, Curve Leicester from the 25th of February, Queen's Theatre Hornchurch from the 4th of March, Yvonne Arnold Theatre from the 11th of March, that is my birthday, Perth Theatre from the 25th of March, and Liverpool Playhouse from the 1st of April, with more dates and venues to be announced soon. And if you didn't think that animal was good enough, I can give you a horse instead, because Warhorse has also announced more tour dates. I'm being very good at linking these shows together. The new stops to talk about are the Leeds Grand Theatre from the 19th of August, Edinburgh Festival Theatre from the 2nd of October, Wales Millennium Centre from the 14th of October, and Norwich Theatre Royal from the 28th of October. It's really cool. I've only seen Warhorse's pro show. I've seen it filmed, but I've never actually seen it in person, so I feel like I should do that. And continuing with the farm theme, I did not plan this. Farm Hall, a play that is the best-selling show in the history of the German Street Theatre, is going to be transferring to the Theatre Royal Haymarket for 30 performances only from the 7th to the 31st of August 2024. This is a play inspired by true events Farm Hall from July 1945 to January 1946. Following the end of World War II, 6 of Germany's leading nuclear scientists, including 3 Nobel Prize winners, were detained by the Allies at a country house near Cambridge. Their confinement was marked by the revelation that the United States has successfully built and used an atomic bomb against Japan. The scientists were unaware that their every action was being recorded during their stay. This looks really intriguing. This seems really dark and really interesting. So I feel like I'm going to have to head to the Theatre Royal Haymarket to catch this, and you should too. We're just going to keep on babbling on, because we've got even more for you. I don't have a good link between Farm Hall and this one. A returning show coming back for a 3rd time to this theatre, the Layman's Trilogy, is going to be coming back to the West End. Produced once again by the National Theatre and Neil Street Productions, Sam Mendes' celebrated production is going to be returning for a 14-week season at the Gilligan Lynn Theatre from the 24th of September until January 2025. This bridges the gap that we knew was happening between Wizard of Oz and the upcoming My Neighbor Totoro transfer. Now, there is a little bit of time between the end of Layman's and the start of Totoro, but I'm assuming that that's just going to be an off period where Totoro is going to be doing the get into that theatre. Knowing the scale of Totoro, I feel like they're going to need all that time. So I'm not expecting another show to go in between the two, but you know, anything can happen. Now, what's very interesting is that we are seeing returning cast members for Layman's Trilogy this time, but they are returning from the run in San Francisco. And these cast members are John Heffernan, Aaron Crone, and Howard W. Overshone, with more cast members to be announced soon, so keep an eye out, keep an ear out, and book your tickets if you want to see Layman's Trilogy. Next up, another returning show, Kim's Convenience. Following a sold-out European premiere at the Park Theatre earlier this year, Kim's Convenience will make its way to the Riverside Studios this autumn, where it's going to be playing the studios from the 5th of September to the 26th of October 2024. This is going to also be in addition to a pop-up Kim's Convenience kiosk in the foyer of that theatre, which is brilliant. They always have like really cool things in the foyer of the Riverside. I don't know if it's gone yet, and I've been wanting to go back to the Riverside for ages because I want to check it out. But they had like a full Doctor Who thing recently with like a full TARDIS, and I'm like, if I've missed that, I'm gonna be so sad. But anyway, you can catch Kim's Convenience. I've heard amazing things about it. My friend Rachel was raving about it, and if you want to catch it, you can catch it again in London from the 5th of September to the 26th of October. Next up, continuing on, heading back a bit more central into the West End, we have a transfer for the play Shifters. This is going to be getting a 9-week season in the West End later this summer. This was a smash hit play at the Bush Theatre, which was in February, and told the story of Des and Dre, a romantic pairing who reconnect after a significant parting. And returning to the show are Heather Ajipong and Tosin Cole. This is going to be playing from the 12th of August to the 12th of October 2024, and you can get tickets starting from £20, with 50% of the first 4 weeks priced at £40 or under. And this is also a play that will have on-stage seating, which is really cool. Again, another one I've heard amazing things about. Funnily enough, also by Rachel. Rachel Reviewed. She's really good. If you don't follow Rachel Reviewed on Instagram or TikTok, go follow Rachel Reviewed. I love Rachel. Rachel's so bubbly and fun. Rachel will probably never see this, but I love Rachel. And if you go say hello to Rachel, tell her I sent you. But yeah, I've heard amazing things from her. She was like raving about this production. So again, I've got to go and see it. And another thing that I've got to go and see is the next show at the Bridge Theatre. So after a long time where Guys and Dolls has sat in that theatre, we are seeing the Bridge return to form. And they are bringing a new production of the Shakespeare classic Richard II. But this is starring Jonathan Bailey, who is making his long-awaited West End, well, not West End, but London theatre, because this is technically off West End. The pedantics are so pedantic, but yes, Jonathan Bailey, who was last seen on a London stage in Company, is returning to play Richard II. He has gone from strength to strength, starring in Bridgerton. He is going to be in the upcoming Wicked film, and now he is going to be in Richard II, which is running at the Bridge Theatre from the 10th of February to the 10th of May 2025. And I know I need to snag up a ticket immediately. Next up, we're still going. Are you asleep yet? Are you still paying attention? Are you still there? I don't think I'm fully here still. But The Lightning Thief is getting a UK premiere production. This is based obviously on the Percy Jackson book of the same name, and now we are getting a brand new production directed by Lizzie G, which will be opening at the Other Palace for a festive run from the 23rd of November to the 2nd of February 2025. This was announced at West End Live, which is really cool. We saw a couple of things announced at West End Live, which is honestly quite new. We haven't seen many things make big announcements at West End Live, so it's nice that that's becoming a bit more of like a nice stage and a nice place to announce to a bunch of theatre fans that a show is coming, and especially a show like Lightning Thief, which I feel like we've been kind of clamoring for a production of it over here for a while. I feel like this is a great theatre for it. I feel like this is a great space for it, and hopefully it will do very well over here. Another show that was announced at West End Live, see, I'm back to linking these together, was the return of Bat Out of Hell. But very interestingly, this new tour of Bat Out of Hell will be more inspired by the arena tour of Australia and New Zealand, and will be slightly reimagined, including an 8-piece rock band on stage and multi-level platforms. So if you've seen the version that has been recently touring, which has used a slightly adapted version of the staging from the Dominion version, this is going to be something completely new. What isn't new, however, is the cast members, because we have a lot of returning cast members here, including Glenn Adamson as Strat, Katie Tonkinson as Raven, and Rob Fowler and Sharon Sexton. And if you didn't feel like I've said enough random places in the UK yet in this video, I'm going to say some more, because the tour dates for this production are as follows. We start in Edinburgh, as seemingly a lot of these tours are doing at the moment. Scotland, you're a great place to start a tour, apparently, which will start from the 6th to the 11th of January and then continues on to Portsmouth from the 13th of January, Liverpool from the 20th of January, Bromley Churchill Theatre from the 27th of January, Cardiff New Theatre from the 3rd of February, the Alexandra in Birmingham from the 10th of February, Manchester Palace from the 25th of February, Aberdeen His Majesty's Theatre from the 10th of March. That's not my birthday. How dare you? Peterborough New Theatre from the 17th of March, Cheltenham Everyman from the 31st of March, Glasgow King's Theatre from the 7th of April, Leeds Grand Theatre from the 21st of April, Woking New Victoria from the 5th of May, Plymouth Theatre Royal from the 12th of May, London's Peacock Theatre from the 23rd of May, which is very interesting to note because that means it's returning to the Peacock Theatre and it's playing there till the 7th of June. Leicester Curve to the 9th of June, Milton Keynes from the 16th of June, Wickham Swan from the 21st of July, Southend Cliffs Pavilion from the 4th of August, Sunderland Empire from the 18th of August, Dartford Orchid Theatre from the 25th of August, Bristol Hippodrome from the 1st of September, and Northampton Royal and Derngate from the 15th of September. And I'm sure that is just the tip of the iceberg of dates, and we will learn more soon. I need a drink. But anyway, if you want to catch Bat Out of Hell, if you want to catch a new version of Bat Out of Hell, you can go and catch it at any of those tour stops. We are down to our last two productions to talk about, and these two are so exciting. One is a very long-awaited transfer of a musical that has been slowly workshopping itself, and one is a transfer of a musical that I have been wishing and wanting for years. We're going to start with the one that I want, and I have been waiting for, and that is we are finally getting a UK premiere of Natasha, Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. This is a musical that premiered on Broadway in 2016, 2017, I want to say, and completely, gutted that theatre and made this just giant, immersive production. But this version of the musical is going a little bit more smaller scale, as it is going to be heading to the Donmar Warehouse from the 7th of December to the 8th of February 2025, meaning that we are seeing a production that is probably going to be more in line with the off-Broadway version of Natasha, Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, which was done all in a very small, confined space with loads of cabaret seating options. It was very, all happening around you and amongst you, and I feel like that's probably what we're going to be heading more towards with this version of Natasha, Pierre, or Great Comet, whichever one you want to shorten it to, because I'm not saying the full title every time. This is being directed by the new artistic director of the Donmar Warehouse, the previous artistic director of the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, Tim Shearder, and has choreography by the legendary Ellen Kane. Really exciting news. This is probably the thing I'm most excited for, but the thing that you guys might be more excited about is Hercules. Yes, replacing Frozen at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane is the stage production of Hercules. This is a show that started open air in New York, transferred to New Jersey, then didn't really get the reception it wanted in New Jersey, then did a German production, which feels like it got the nature of the show a little bit stronger, and now that German production will be translated back into English and is heading to the Theatre Royal Drury Lane summer 2025. Now, if you are sitting there and doing the math, that means from Frozen's closure to the opening of Hercules, we have this long period of time where we don't know what's going to the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. Because Frozen is closing September 2024. And if we're taking summer as the earliest it can possibly be, Hercules won't be opening until June. Or maybe even August if we're taking it even later. So that is a good 9 to almost a year gap between the closure of Frozen to the opening of Hercules. So now speculation time. You don't need to take off those speculation goggles yet because we need to find out what's going to the Theatre Royal Drury Lane after Frozen. Will it be the rumoured Christmas show that Andrew Lloyd Webber is working on? Will they just stick to loads of concerts like they have had massive success with at the Palladium and even on the off days while Frozen has been playing at that theatre? We don't know yet. We don't know. This is really exciting. But I am so hyped for Hercules. I feel like looking at the little clips of that production, it feels like they've nailed what that show needs to look like on stage. And I can't wait for further details to come out and for me to tell you about it next time. But I did it. I did it. That is all the news you missed over the past 2 weeks. I promise next week I will have a video and I won't have to do this much news in one go. I really missed the 1 week where everything got announced, didn't I? But what are you most excited for? What shows are you looking forward to the most? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me and helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on the screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you would like to drop me a follow over there. I also have other socials and a merch store in the description down below. But that is it for me today, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!